Hello, Guilty Feminist. This is Deborah. We have another rerun for you this week, and we'll be back next week with another brand new episode. Enjoy. I'm a feminist, but I changed one of my friends' names in my phone to John Hamm as a joke, and I haven't changed it back because I like the thrill I get whenever it comes through. So I can pretend he's texting me and I'm his girlfriend.
I'm a feminist, but the night I got a lift home from a celebrity singer and he asked me if I was single, and I said no, and he said, "Your boyfriend's a lucky guy," my first thought was, oh my God, I think this celebrity singer fancies me. And my second thought was, oh my God, this will make a great anecdote. And my third thought was, oh my God, I completely forgot my girlfriend is sitting in the back seat watching this exchange. And I haven't corrected him. Oh well, never mind. Daniel Bedingfield fancies me. That will make a great anecdote.
Did she up her game after that? Did she be like...
She was livid. She was like, when were you going to tell him that I was your girlfriend? And I was like, I forgot you were there.
I'm a feminist, but I did much of my research for tonight's show on Cosmo and the rest on BuzzFeed. Both great places to find out about periods, to be fair. Fountains of science. Wellsprings of truth. Mud pools of feminism. Sorry, Jen.
I'm a feminist, but I like to pay men to do DIY round my house. You know, just pay a man cash to come round to my house and fix stuff for me. That's it, fella. You get on your knees and stick your head under my U-bend. No, don't look at my face. You stay down there and I'll tell you when you can get back up again. I like to see a man sweat. I said don't look at my face. Leave the money on the side, you can let yourself out. That one might just be me.
I'm a feminist, but I heard that Justin Trudeau and Margaret Atwood were friends. And I thought, I'd love to be friends with Margaret Atwood, because then she could introduce me to Justin Trudeau.
Oh, you're really not going to like this one. I'm a feminist, but sometimes when my girlfriend legitimately complains to me that I never hang up my coat or put my bag away, or that I leave every kitchen cupboard door open when I'm cooking and never, ever close any of them, even after I finish cooking, I find myself making this sound in my head. She doesn't know this. She does now.
Live from King's Place in London, the Spontaneity Shop presents The Guilty Feminist. With me, Deborah Frances-White, guest co-host Jen Brister, very special guests Gemma Cairney, Amika George, Grace Campbell, talking about period poverty. This is The Guilty Feminist, the podcast in which we explore our noble goals as 21st century feminists and the hypocrisies and insecurities which undermine them. All right, well, today we're talking about period poverty. Now, we've discussed periods on this podcast before, twice, but there are lots of women in this country, and girls in this country, who cannot afford sanitary products. There's a genuine poverty. So that's what we're discussing today. Before we get our fabulous guests on, do you enjoy
a period?
A period?
I think I might be one of the many women who doesn't really enjoy them that much.
Do you know what I think? I think it's a real flaw in the system. It's such a waste, because most people would only have like 1 or 2 babies in a lifetime, some 3. And in olden times, of course, people had more, but they often died having them.
They didn't want them, though.
No, they didn't want them.
Oh, another one. Oh, God.
But even if you could have 6 children in a lifetime, as some people did, or even, 9 or 10, that's a lot of periods to get through. It's like, why waste every single month you have a potential baby, when even though you surely there's a better
just a little
system.
button here, you go, yeah, period time.
Yeah,
and some of us would never press that button.
Exactly. A better system would be if you wanted to ovulate, you turned something on. Like the thermostat at home. When you want your central heating, you turn it on.
I see what you mean. Or like, when you get like a box of wine. I'm just wondering if that's a slightly better... because it's in a bag and...
Exactly like a box of wine. So if you've got a box of wine...
But if you take the bag out of the box, then you kind of... Look, let's move this forward. Let's trip it on. Let's move it on.
Okay.
Please welcome the wonderful Deborah Frances-White.
This is 17 things you probably didn't know about periods, but should. 1, in Turkey, the slang for menstruation is the motherland is crying blood. 2, before her mission in 1983, NASA engineers asked Sally Ride if she would need 100 tampons for the week of her period in space. She replied, no, that would not be the right number. According to a 2002 interview published by NASA. Yes, they published that. On purpose, they said, we're meant to be the cleverest people in the world. This is how stupid we are. In Spain and many Spanish-speaking South American countries, they say...
Andrés, el que viene cada mes.
A rhyme that means...
I'm with Andrew, the one that comes once a month.
That's the slang for menstruation. In 1921, women paid for the first disposable Kotex pads by putting money in a secret box on the shop counter and having a secret parcel slid across to them like they were in a spy film. Because they were available but not to be discussed. In Austria, Germany, Latvia, Norway and Switzerland, they call it Strawberry Week. Most women have period stains in every pair of underwear. 36,000 women surveyed by Thinks. That's a lot of women for a survey. They don't normally bother with that many. They normally do, with the skin creams. They say we asked 96 women and 72 of them said they thought they could see a change if they looked really closely. Ooh, it works. But this is 36,000 women surveyed by Thinks, and 54% said they'd ruined every pair of underwear they owned due to their period. Now, on the Guilty Feminist, we like to do it, Never close their eyes, just say, if you've ruined a lot of underwear. Go. If you've ruined no underwear. In Denmark, Estonia and Sweden, they say, the communists are in the funhouse. Because it's red down there in the funhouse. A rare menstruating disorder can cause bleeding of the eyes. Known as vicarious menstruation. Luckily, only a handful of cases have been recorded, and the condition occurs when endometrial tissue, which normally grows in your uterus and sheds during your period, is transmitted through the bloodstream. I know. Vicarious menstruation. Also, I think what my husband experiences at times. In Belgium, Canada, and France, they say, the British have landed. They must be pleased about Brexit. Humans, humpback whales, and elephants are the only animals that go through menopause. In the Czech Republic and Slovakia, they say, I've got a pile of old useless junk. That's probably the most accurate one. Pile of old useless junk. In the Middle Ages, people thought red-headed people were conceived during a period. In South Africa, they say, Granny is coming in the red car. The first movie to use the word vagina was 1946 animated film made by Walt Disney called The Story of Menstruation. It's true, it was funded by a company. You can see it online. It's hilarious. I mean, it's not, but it is. It's basically, think about The Sorcerer's Apprentice, in Fantasia. It's that, only with menstruation. Tampon is a French word. Does anyone know what it means? Plug, correct. Yeah, absolutely. Tampon. So if you have a bath plug, it is also called tampon. Tampon. Any French people in? Do you use it for both the bath plug and the plug? No French people in. Well, in that case, no one will be able to refute this. In France, they say, the little clown with the bleeding nose. Many women do not realise that because women menstruate earlier, give birth later, have fewer pregnancies, spend less time breastfeeding, and enter menopause later, they can expect far more periods in their lifetime than women in prehistoric times. A woman in an industrial country can expect 450 periods in her life. Count them down, sisters. Count them down.
Oh, I didn't like that figure of 450.
No.
That's upset me.
I'm sorry. I don't know what to tell you.
I don't know. I think I'm at the latter end now. I must be at about 400.
Do you reckon you've only got 50 to go? No.
I'm just optimistic.
My challenge was to spend a whole period as if I could not afford sanitary products and just using loo paper. And I would not recommend it. It's very scratchy. You feel very insecure about it coming through onto your clothes. And it's generally kind of messy. And it does put you off going out, I will have to say that. And it puts you off wearing certain sorts of clothes. You have to think much more carefully. And also, often when you go to the loo, it just kind of falls out. And you have to go again.
Down your trouser leg.
Well, just generally, it's just not the right equipment for the job. So that was my challenge because I wanted to experience what we were going to be talking about tonight. So shall we get our guests on?
Yes, let's do it.
Okay. Our guests today are first a radio presenter and fashion stylist, as well as an award-winning documentary maker, Gemma Cairney. She is joined by teenage activist Amika George and co-founder of the Pink Protest, Grace Campbell.
Hello.
Hello. So, Gemma, Grace, and Amika, tell us about period poverty and how this began.
So the campaign started when I read about period poverty in the news earlier this year. I was just kind of eating breakfast before school, and I saw that girls in the UK were missing school for up to a week every month just because they couldn't afford menstrual products. Or they were going to school using, like you mentioned, toilet paper, socks, newspaper, the sleeves of old T-shirts. It was really horrifying, and it's something that I'd never been faced with, and I just was completely gobsmacked, and I felt I had to do something about it. So I started a campaign. I started a petition on change.org. I called it #FreePeriods, and the idea is to provide free menstrual products to all people on free school meals.
Wonderful. That is a wonderful thing to do. Amika, you're only a teenager, and this is a serious piece of activism to be doing. Do you think it's because you're a teenager that you relate to the problems with teenagers?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I know that when I miss just one day of school because of illness or for whatever reason, I have an insane amount to catch up on, especially kind of doing your A-levels or your GCSEs. It's so intense. So when I heard about girls my age missing a week or over a week every month, which is obviously a huge amount of time in the long run, I just couldn't believe it.
Yeah, it's an extraordinary thing. And what are you doing about it? There's a protest coming up.
Yeah, so we've got a protest on the 20th of December in London on Parliament Square, and Grace is helping me organise it. It should be a really good time. We're all wearing red, and we've got some really cool speakers organised. So, yeah, please come along if you can.
Everyone here, come.
I am going to come.
No excuses.
I'm going to be there, and I'm very, very excited about it. So we'll have a Guilty Feminist area that you can come and find us. And Grace, can you tell me a little bit about how your organisation fits in with this?
So I started the Pink Protest quite recently with someone called Scarlett Curtis, who's a good friend of mine. The idea was to redefine what young female activism is like, because we felt that a lot of older people think young people are quite apathetic now, and we also felt that loads of young people are activists. They just had never called themselves one, because it's kind of a word that I think has started to seem quite, I don't know about uncool, but like people just don't use it that much. So we were making a short film, and Amika came to the shoot to talk about free periods, and we like obviously fell in love with her and have started helping her since then. And now, yeah, we're working on the campaign and we're helping her organise the protest.
So you're a sort of umbrella project
Yeah.
to bring female activists together and get each other cross-fertilising on each other's protests and each other's projects.
Basically, and also I'm a filmmaker, and the idea is that we create video content for social media to kind of engage people across all sort of boards of activism. And we're really enjoying at the moment bringing loads of different parts of female activism together, because it's like educating us so much, and like there's so much incredible activism going on at the moment that I hadn't really known about until I started this. So it's just been really, really inspiring. And like meeting someone like Amika, who like at your age I was literally just getting drunk on Hampstead Heath, so it's incredibly inspiring.
How old are you, Amika?
I'm 18.
You're 18?
Yeah.
Well done on not being drunk on Hampstead Heath right now. Some good
I
work.
had a Cambridge interview on Wednesday morning.
Everyone knows. Yeah, I've got an interview coming up, so...
So you can't be drunk on Hampstead Heath yet?
Unfortunately not.
No, but you know,
Plenty of time.
It's plenty of time. And December, after
You're
the march
only
on
18.
December the 20th, we might go for a few.
Yeah. We've actually got a bar in central London called, I think it's called Hello Josephine, because I'll try and remember the actual name of it, who are offering happy hour cocktails to everyone that's on their periods around the time of the...
I'll definitely be
on my period.
I'm on all the time.
When you get to my age, you're always on. You're just on.
And Gemma, you're an amazing writer and broadcaster, and you've got a book that's actually got a chapter about periods, hasn't it?
Yeah, so I wrote a book called Open, a toolkit for how magic and messed up life can be. And it goes from your heart, your mind, your body and soul, your world and your future. And when I was writing about your body, and I was writing it from a female perspective because I'm born female, but I don't think that the book is just for girls. You know, I fought with my publisher for it not to be pink, for example. It's yellow. It's got to be genderless because I feel like we're living in a genderless society more so. But I did want to write about periods and sort of explore like why they're such a taboo. And like, the more I wrote about them, the more I got like just sort of enlightened and angry, and I just couldn't stop. I couldn't stop thinking about them because they're so powerful and unfortunately so problematic too. And I think what would be really nice, like you talking about this incredible march that you guys are doing and all the stuff that you're doing is just like, this sounds patronising, but I think young people are just the best people on the planet right now. Like the younger generation are just absolutely keeping me like afloat in terms of I think you know the future is bright. So well done. I just would love there to be loads of guys like in red, because it's just really important that like we're all here because of periods. So why don't guys want to talk about them too?
They really don't. They just don't. I mean, I've tried.
I know, it's so weird.
Have you ever just accidentally, have you been talking to her like, this happened to me, a friend of mine who I write with, who's really cool. He's totally fine with the period thing. But then I just sort of went, because, you know, it's really heavy today. And he went, okay, enough. And I was like, oh, now I want to tell you everything.
There's a big taboo about it, and I think it's great to get us talking about it more, because if you are experiencing period poverty, if you can't afford tampons and you're going to school or missing school because of periods and it seems like a taboo subject, you're much less likely to speak up and go, hey, I can't afford tampons and I'm in the middle of my GCSEs. Someone needs to help me. How important do you think discussions and, you know, Gemma talking about it on the radio or in her book, or how important do you think it is, Amika?
I think it's the most important thing. I think I have never really understood why a completely normal, natural process that obviously half the world's population go through every month is so embarrassing. And we're so scared to talk about it, and it makes it so much harder because we just can't seem to dismantle this period taboo. And I completely agree. I think that men need to be involved in the conversation. I think at the moment we have this perception that, you know, periods obviously only a women's issue, so only women can talk about them. And that stops men from getting involved, and that stops us from getting over this embarrassment. And like you mentioned before, I think that sanitary product manufacturers should really be held responsible for a lot of it. I think that they have these adverts with the, you know, the blue liquid falling from the skies. They have, you know, women on their periods parachuting and, you know, rock climbing, wearing white hot pants, and it's completely unrealistic.
I mean, even off your period, that's a dangerous choice, isn't it?
White hot pants in any situation is just a no-no.
Yeah, it's true. It's true. They're always running. Women only run in ads if they're on their period. Yeah. You don't see women running under any other circumstances unless it's one of those ads that says you can be as good as a man. There's some ads like that are like, you know, like This Girl Can type ads, which are great. But other than that, if women are running, it's definitely because they're menstruating. I'm like, well, how much running do you do when you're on your period?
Did you see the story of the woman who ran the marathon whilst free bleeding? I can't remember her name. She's incredible. And yeah, so she was just like, you know, I've worked for months towards this goal. I'm on my period, and if I have to stop to change my tampon or whatever, it's going to stop the actual event. There's going to be more time. So she just let herself bleed. I'm
just thinking of the practicalities of the, you know, because it will get moist and rubbish again.
It's fascinating.
I know.
Because there's period pants you can buy now, can't you?
Yeah, things.
Facebook has told me about these relentlessly.
Aisling B is such a big advocate for them. She's
like,
told me about them.
Oh, has she? Well,
yeah.
so you buy, and then presumably you buy these period pants, and then you have your period. And then you wash them and then use them again?
Yeah, you wash them and you just have to run water at the time, but then you can leave them in the wash like anything else.
And even environmentally, that's another thing that I started to think about a lot when I was writing about them. And I was like, all the waste that we're putting into the earth because of our periods, it's kind of like we need to find a better way of doing this.
Because I thought the moon cup, that wasn't really me.
Yeah, no, same.
Do you know what I mean? I was like, I don't want to go into a public sink and just go, don't mind me, ladies. What is she doing? It's just menstruation. Just menstrual blood.
It feels really Game of Thrones to me when you take it out. I've tried it as a challenge for the show in the past, and it feels like my cup runneth over. It's like a goblet of blood, and I'm just like, oh, or no. And I know that they are more environmentally friendly, but I rather think the Thinks pants are maybe the thing, or increasingly, my birth... There's a lady there shouting for a moon cup.
No, listen. I think moon cups are absolutely great. For me... No,
for others, no.
Do you know what I mean?
Just give us a cheer if you enjoy a moon cup. Give us a cheer if moon cups are not for you, but you would consider Thinks the pants that you wash.
Yeah, because there's practical reasons. I feel like I need to defend myself here.
No,
as a stand-up comedian, I'm on the road a lot, and there's a lot of public toilets where I have to come out of and go, hello. And I'm not confident, but I'm not. Maybe then you've got to rinse it out. I'm not going to literally come out with a cup. But I mean, you're going to have to I suppose you could flush and rinse it. Look, anyway, the thing is, there are a lot.
But then you've got to queue for the loo again to put it back in, I suppose. So if
you're right, and I don't want to put it in flushed water and then go, I hope this is
not flushed water.
No, but this is all going on in... I feel like I'm having a breakdown.
I'm imagining you're in Debenhams, you've queued for the loo, it's Christmas shopping, You've queued for
I like
the
the way
loo.
you're in Debenhams. I'm in some, shitty Shell station. Yeah, little chef off the M40.
I feel like you're Christmas shopping in Debenhams, you queue for the loo, you think, oh, bloody hell, and I've got all my parcels, but I really need the loo. You queue for the loo, you pull your moon cup out, you tip it into the loo, you get out, you wash it in the sink, then you've got to go back to the queue to put it back in. But in the meantime, you are, in fact, free bleeding, which I know is all the rage, but I don't want to do it. Much like moon cups, not for me, gang. And I'm just not a free bleeder, and I think I'm a feminist, but I'm not a free bleeder and never will be. But similarly with the moon cup, it is that kind of thing that you come out, then you have to rinse, then you have to queue up again, and then what's going on in the meantime? It's great for your house, but... Oh, we're being
you use a water bottle. Oh, that makes more sense.
Okay.
How does this
but here
work?
I am. Do you know how clumsy I am? I'm standing over the Debenhams loo. I've got a water bottle. I've tipped it out, and now I'm trying to tip water, and then I drop it in the loo, and then it's
Do you know, also, I'll have left the car and I've gone into the service station and gone, where's the water bowl? That's the kind of thing I do. Look, I don't... I know, we could workshop this, but we've only got 15 minutes.
Hello, Guilty Feminist. This is Deborah. If you're up in Edinburgh this year for the many festivals, I'll be at the Edinburgh Book Festival talking about my book, 6 Conversations We're Scared to Have, on Thursday, the 21st of August. And I'll be presenting my classic old school, the deep cut improvised comedy show Voices in Your Head as part of Shedinburgh on Friday, the 22nd of August. And we can now announce there will be a live Guilty Feminist as part of the London Podcast Festival at King's Place on Sunday, the 14th of September at 4:30 p.m. For more information and to book tickets for any of these, go to guiltyfeminist.com and click on live shows. And now, on with the podcast.
Please welcome to the stage the wonderful, the fabulous, the only Jen Brister.
Okay, so there's a rule in comedy that women must never, ever, ever mention their period, okay? This rule was told to me when I first started stand-up comedy by everybody in comedy, including women, because we all know that women are barely funny anyway. God forbid that they should mention anything like their periods. Because that's not very funny. And when people told me this, I went, of course not. Periods aren't funny. I mean, that's just ridiculous. How awful of any woman to mention she has a period. How hack. And all of us women agreed never to mention it again. Because, of course, if men had periods, they wouldn't mention them, would they? I mean, why would we mention a monthly cycle where we bleed, experience pain, mood swings, and on occasion, we can actually be hospitalised? No, we shouldn't mention anything as hack as periods, but do carry on chatting about wanking and how embarrassing it is to get an unwanted erection at work, because everybody needs to hear about that. I'll just pretend like I'm Barbie and it's all smooth down there and there's nothing to see here. Can you imagine how much stand-up comedy there would be from men if they had to stick a tampon up their arse once a month? God, the moaning they do if they just have to stick one cotton bud down their knob. Do you know what I mean? They're like absolutely losing it. You try squeezing a human being out of a hole the size of a 10-pence piece, mate, and then get back to me. Get a fucking grip. Anyone would think you'd experience having a cervical smear done by a trainee nurse who'd forgotten her contact lenses. I'm just having a little bit of trouble finding it here. I think, no, I just, is it here? I think it might have moved. I'm not surprised, love, the way you're stabbing away down there. It's probably hiding. You can also bet your ass that if men had periods, sanitary bum pads would not only be free, but they would be freely available everywhere. You know, oh, hello, mate, can I get a pint, please? Yeah, and I'm on the blob. So I'll have some of them sanitary bum pads and a packet of up the bummers. I'm playing squash later and I don't want any rubbish between the cheeks, know what I mean? Cheers, mate. Men are terrified of periods, aren't they? Just mention to a group of men that you've got your period. They don't know where to look, do they? They don't know what to do with themselves. And I think this is what we should do. The next time you have your period, yeah, and you're asked by a friend or a colleague or a boyfriend or a husband, and they ask you how you are, instead of saying, "Oh, I'm fine, thanks, love," tell him. Tell him, "I feel bloated, mate. I feel bloated. I've got horrific period pains. I can actually feel them across my back and down the front of my thighs. I feel so moody that while I talk to you, I'm also fantasising about punching you in the face. And or having a cry whilst cramming a family-sized fruit and nut bar in my gob. I also feel a lot hornier than usual while simultaneously disgusted with my body for no reason whatsoever. Other than the fact that I've been told having a period is disgusting by everyone, including companies who want to sell me sanitary products but want me to believe that having blue liquid pouring out of my vag is preferable to actual human blood. Anyway, how are you? I don't think it's a controversial idea, is it, that essentials such as sanitary products should be absolutely free? You know, for all women, but particularly for any women who can't afford to buy them. Personally, I'd love them to be free so we could stop having all of those patronising adverts. Even adverts that don't even seem to be about periods seem to be hinting at periods. Remember those yoghurt ones? Do you remember those yoghurt? I just feel really bloated. What the fuck's the matter with you? If you're not on your period, why are you bloated? Have a yoghurt, darling. Have a yoghurt. No, don't have a yoghurt. Have a shit. It's just those patronising adverts where women are always roller skating. Do you remember those? Because women were constantly roller skating. Have you been on roller skates? No, neither have I since I was 9. Because roller skating is about as much fun as having your period. There's nothing empowering about roller skating. Roller skating is fucking shit. Do you know what I'd like to see? A body form or one of those Tampax adverts. I'd like to see one of those where instead of them roller skating or bounding around on a fucking lilo, I want to see a woman just walking down the street minding her own business and a bloke comes along and tries to mug her. And then there's just 2.5 minutes of seeing this bloke being beaten round the head with a handbag. Because she's on her period and you don't fuck with June when she's on her rag. Yeah? And the tagline would be, "Oh, don't fuck with us! We'll beat the shit out of you!" Thank you. Interesting. I wanted to ask you, because obviously you're campaigning with the companies that produce sanitary products. Are they any closer to saying, do you know what, because even if, this great neoliberal capitalist society we live in that we think, okay, businesses deserve to, make money and we can't have these sanitary products available to everybody, surely there should be a place where women can go if they can't afford sanitary products and they go, like we give away free condoms, I had a bloke say to me, why should you get sent, I have to pay for my toilet paper. I was like, no, you don't. When was the last time you went into a restaurant and they went, that'll be 35 pence? And also, have you noticed if you go into any sort of public toilet, if you want to buy a tampon or something, it's £4 each or something. It's something ridiculous. Yeah. I mean, what's the deal with these guys? I'm assuming they're guys.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. I think, obviously, condoms are free. They're not... It's the same principle with pads and tampons. They are, for us, they're necessary and we need them, and the girls who don't have them are suffering. I think for the women who are, asylum seekers, refugees, or homeless, they are now being provided at food banks, which is amazing. But a lot of people don't know that they are there. And also, obviously, because of the taboo, they're too embarrassed to ask. So I think it really all does come down to this taboo that we need to smash.
And in terms of sustainability, would you like the government to provide more Mooncup/Think pants and get away from tampons? Or right now it's just more important that girls get to go to school, and would you prefer them just to make tampons freely available from the school?
I think the thing with moon cups, as we said, is that obviously so amazing for the environment, much, much better, but there is a problem with education around them, that not all girls have heard of them, not all girls know how to use them. And so I think there needs to be a range, because I do think that obviously girls, we're all different, we all have different periods and we have different preferences. So if this is implemented, which I really, really hope it does, I think it should be a variety.
And also that we learn more about it in schools. That's a real problem, because it's the same as sex education. It's like all of that I just didn't really get while I was at school. It just wasn't taught about periods and sex.
No, me neither. Nothing.
Like nothing. So I think that's another big problem. And that's also a big root of the taboo and the stigma, is that in schools it's not like an open conversation to talk about your periods, and it's not encouraged.
How do we get girls to be in a situation where they're at school and they don't have to ask? Because I think the asking is the humiliating bit. Is there a way that girls can be offered, and that there's just an access so that if you go to that store cupboard, you can get what you need, rather than having to go cap in hand and go, please, can I have a, because it's embarrassing not being able to afford things, and you don't want to have to ask for them. Or you may need to stock up before you get your period because you wake up and you've got it, and now you've got to get into school.
I think my idea is that, so you might have heard that there's a pilot scheme that was launched in Scotland over the year, and the way it worked there is that women from lowest income families or backgrounds, they were provided with an S card. So that's just a small, kind of very subtle, discreet card that they could just show so girls could show them at school or in a supermarket, pharmacy, wherever. And it was just so kind of discreet and not embarrassing that it wasn't a big kind of, because obviously, it's, like you said, it's completely humiliating to put your hand up and say, this is me. And especially for women and girls all over the country, they shouldn't have that barrier every single month. So I do think it should be something subtle like an S card, or just something that kind of gets rid of this humiliation.
How much funding do you need from the government to make this happen?
So we've done some kind of crude costs, and obviously it does vary hugely on whether you go for the higher scale or the lower scale of products, or kind of which products you use, but the estimate is around £5 million annually, which kind of in the grand scheme of things for the government isn't a huge amount of money, especially if it's putting, thousands of girls back in schools and giving them back their education, which obviously we all need and deserve.
Yeah, and also the future of the country, the investment in young people is always worthwhile. And given the price tag of Brexit, it really isn't very much by comparison. We could just take some of that 350 million a year bus money that we were going to get. Do we have any questions from the audience? Yes?
Hello.
Hi.
In relation to the scheme you're trying to work up, wouldn't it be worth asking the government to use the taxes that we pay for tampons and pads and all the sanitary items to use that for the scheme?
Yeah.
That would be ideal. Philip Hammond, where are you?
I would like them to cancel that, though. I would like them to... That's a tricky one, because then they'll say, oh, yeah, we're using it for good things. But given they are still taxing tampons, is that a way that you can pressure them?
Completely. I think that was, the ideal solution. I think that's where it lies. The tax on tampons is, I think, the most ridiculous thing. I read that Jaffa cakes are considered an essential, necessary item for the British population, so we don't pay tax on them. But tampons and pads are a luxury.
So we should all just start using Jaffa cakes.
That's what I
They're really absorbent. I don't know if you've heard.
Anything else? Anybody else got a question? Yes, somebody there?
So the campaign's amazing, well done. But I guess I would pose a question of, is not a significant part of the problem eradicating the taboo around poverty as well?
Yes.
Yeah, definitely, but it's one of the stages, I guess, in getting closer towards that. Obviously, that's a goal, but this is kind of a really small ask for the government, so it actually could be achieved really quickly, and then it could be a kind of a stage.
I'm really interested to know what is actually happening, like the communication that you're having, and whether you're seeing a sort of light or whether you're still...
I mean, there's been a great engagement with loads of politicians, and we've got quite a few MPs speaking at the protest, and the idea is that the protest will kind of really grab like the cabinet's attention, because at the moment we're talking to shadow cabinet ministers and backbenchers, but there is, I mean, we're making progress. The goal is in the new year to sit down with like Justine Greening or Philip Hammond and really try and talk to them.
Amazing.
He seems like a kind of guy you could really communicate
about your heavy flow.
Yeah.
That's my dream.
Yeah, really enjoying this heavy flow, Phil. Are you feeling it, man?
I will stop talking about my flow when you fund my project. That's what we should just do, just write in about our flow. In fact, Gráinne Maguire was doing that, wasn't she? She was constantly writing into Irish politicians about the content of her period until they... And it maybe is a really, really good strategy. It's just,
bleed
just keep
all
sending
over
him
Houses
photos
of
of
Parliament.
it.
We'll free bleed in the House of Commons until it was 5 million.
Yeah.
And I think the question was a really good one. You know, we should be trying to eradicate poverty and not just sort of providing charitable options for people who are too poor to afford tampons. But at the same time, Amika being only 18, she probably can't eradicate poverty. But she can. This is something that she's seen. It's a need, and it's something that could be done tomorrow if the government would stump up for it. And then that's something local in her world that's fixed to her age group. And I am increasingly thinking we get frustrated that we can't fix the world, and some things seem to be getting much worse and some things seem to be getting much better historically. But the things that are getting much worse, when we feel overwhelmed and frustrated by them, one local thing that we can do, one person we can reach out to. Online, I've seen an idea that if you've got a spare old handbag or something, or a canvas bag that you're not using, to fill it with tampons or sanitary napkins and other, healthy snacks and snacks and other things, and give it to a homeless woman. What can you do locally while we continue to try and turn around the oil tanker that is some of these governments that we now are living with? Shall we do a charity of the week? What is your charity? Please tell us.
We're Women in Prison. The vast majority of women in prison have experience of domestic violence, mental ill health, addiction and childhood trauma. A third grew up in care and 1 in 2 leave prison homeless. Most are there for non-violent offences, often linked to poverty, including shoplifting and not paying TV licence or council tax. When a mother is sent to prison, 9 out of 10 children have to leave their home to go into care or live with relatives. Women in Prison is a national charity founded 30 years ago by a woman in Holloway. We work in prisons and communities to help women survive abuse, find a safe place to live, cope with mental ill health and combat addiction. We're campaigning to half the women's prison population from 4,000 to 2,020 by 2020 by donating just £5 a month through our website, www.womeninprison.org.uk. You'll help the most disadvantaged women get their lives on track, be part of a social justice mission and make a real difference. Follow us on Twitter at whip_live. Thanks very much.
Tonight, we'll be collecting at both doors for women in prison. If you come tonight, you've paid for your ticket. There's no obligation to give, but if you've got £1, a fiver, a tenner that you're not using in your bag, if you could pop it in, that would be amazing. Anything you've got would be so gratefully received. If you're listening at home and you haven't paid for the show, if you could pop something in their website, that would be much appreciated. Also, how can we give to you guys? How can we help? What can we do?
So you can sign the petition. It's #freeperiods, change.org.
But like we were talking about, I think more than anything, just talk about periods. Just do something.
Just on the bus, loudly.
Completely, to the bus driver. Just, just kind of, I think, just go into detail, be graphic. Because that's the only way that we can kind of teach the next generation that periods aren't embarrassing and they're not disgusting, they're powerful.
They are. Just loudly say to the bus driver, Granny is coming in the red car. Gemma Cairney, can you plug your book, please?
Yes, because my heart and soul is in my book, so all my secrets are there. You should ask your local bookshop if they haven't got one, why they haven't got one. Seriously. It took me a long time to write and I cried a lot, so do ask.
What's it called?
It's called Open, a toolkit for how magic and messed up life can be. It's value for money. It weighs over 1 kilogram, so if you don't like it, you can use it as a weight. And it's bright yellow, you can't miss it. It's got my gob on the front of it, even though I didn't want to be on it. They made me. And it's got glitter, it's full colour. Buy it for someone for Christmas, especially if they're 14 and having a terrible time, but also read it yourself because it's for everybody.
Right. Where can we buy it?
And you can go online. So it's got its own website, openthebook.xyz, and choose which outlet you want to give your money to. That's up to you.
Ideally not Amazon, but they're so good for Christmas, aren't they? Because they just send it wrapped. Always turns up. It's so annoying, though. I know. Hate supporting them.
It's hard.
Please try and buy it from Waterstones or an independent. Please, please, please. So, and Gemma, is there anything else you want to plug?
There's loads going on. Just like follow me on Instagram and Twitter. I'm Gem again on Instagram because it's me again. And Jen Cairney on Twitter. There's lots.
Jen, would you please read that? Do you want to do it in a voice?
Oh, what, in the voice of my mum?
Yeah. Can you do this in the voice of your mum? Okay. It's just my favourite thing to listen to.
Okay. To keep track of everything we're up to, you can follow GilFemPod on Twitter or the Guilty Feminist on Instagram. My God. It's long. There's also a Facebook page you can like me and a mailing list you can sign up to. And if you like what you hear, please go. Sorry. Please go to what we're now supposed to call Apple Podcasts and rate, review, and subscribe. It helps other people to discover us.
And give us 5 stars! Thank you very much, Jen Brister! You have been listening to The Guilty Feminist with me, Deborah Frances-White, guest co-host Jen Brister, and our very special guests, Gemma Cairney, Amika George, and Grace Campbell. The recording engineer was Chris Sharp. The music was by Mark Hodge. The producer was Tom Salinsky for The Spontaneity Shop. Thanks to Zoe, Jacob, Sally, and everyone at King's Place, as well as all of you for listening. For more information about this and other episodes, visit guiltyfeminist.com. Thank you, everyone. We've been The Guilty Feminists. Good night. We're not anti the Moon Cup, just to be clear. If you love the Moon Cup, you love the Moon Cup. And I want lots of people to use the Moon Cup, just not me. I really do, because it's really right for some people. But like everything, women are not a monolithic group. If cis men got periods, they would have a variety of options, and we are allowed to have a variety of sustainable options. We don't all have to use the same Moon Cup, gang. And we should never use the same Moon Cup anyway. One Moon Cup. How would we get all of our cycles in sync? It would be a nightmare. Well,
Big Speeches is back. Hello, Guilty Feminists. It's Jessica Regan here. Delighted to tell you that our online communication workshop, Big Speeches, is back with a bang for the end of the summer. Okay, so if you would like to participate in our workshop, which has helped hundreds of Guilty Feminists already, please do book for one of the following dates. We're hosting the workshops at the end of August, the 30th and 31st, Saturday and Sunday, and those workshops are at 10:30 a.m. At the end of September, we're hosting workshops the 28th and the 27th, so Saturday and Sunday again, and those workshops are at 3 p.m. So hopefully there's a bit of flexibility with time zones and routines, etc. We want to help anyone who wants to participate in this workshop make it happen. We have a subsidised rate, and we have also lowered our prices for the standard rate. So please do get online, places are limited, and we really want to accommodate you. Looking forward to seeing you there.
The Guilty Feminist is provided exclusively from Acast. Find it wherever you get your podcasts.